So welcome to podcast number 4, the Reup Podcast.
Let's go.
Today we have Travis Wallace with Jameson Sotheby.
Jameson Sotheby's International Realty. You got to get the International Realty part in there.
100%. Basically, we're just going to have a conversation about real estate, what got you started, some of the trends we're seeing in the market, as well as like the trends we're seeing in social media and how all that's playing together. Mm-hmm. Let's start with like, how'd you get started?
Yeah. So I got started right out of college. I tell this story all the time. Like I was 2 days into my job and I hated it. Like I knew I didn't want to work corporate at all. But I was just out of college, had no money, had bills, had loans. I'm like, I can't sit here and, watch Netflix all these weeks. So got a job. 2 days into it, I'm like, I can't deal with this. So I reached out to a mentor I had, sat down with her, kind of picked her brain. And, real estate has always been, top of mind, always just going back to like HGTV or something like that. I just love that. Or going back to my local newspaper. I would just go straight to the back and look at the homes. Yeah. So we sat down. She connected me with my now team lead, Jackie Mack, who is awesome, a blessing, a knowledge of everything real estate. And we had coffee, legit, like across from my corporate building. I was like, I'm going on a quick bathroom break. And then went next door for like 30 minutes, picked her brain, like, how did you get started? How do you be successful? Like, what does your day look like? And then like 2 weeks later, she emailed me. She's like, do you want to be my showing agent? So basically, I didn't have my license yet, so I would just open the house for, showings, turn on the lights, make sure everything's in place, and stand in the corner. Because I
do some of the grunt work.
Yeah. And I couldn't do anything legally yet. So I did that for about, like 6 months while I was getting my license. I was still working corporate and got my license passed the exam February 2019, got everything situated March 2019, and then like the second week of March, I walked into my job after like 2 weeks of like thinking about quitting.
There's always that time of period. There's like a period of time where you're like, should I do it? Should I not?
No. Which was like literally the entire job, because like I was so burnt out, and it's like I'm 23. I shouldn't be burnt out at this age, right?
No way. Yeah.
So that Sunday scare was like to the max every single Sunday. So walked in on a Monday, and I sat next to my boss. I'm like, hey, can we chat? And can we chat? You know what that means. So and we sat in like a 20-person office, so like everyone knew what that meant.
It's not you, it's me.
Basically, legit. So I was like, I loved working there. They were good people, amazing people. She ran a great company, but it wasn't for me. So I'm like, I'm not going to be a benefit for you. She's like, can you give me 2 more weeks? I'm like, I just can't. Like, it's just not conducive to me. So quit my job. And like, if you think about a movie, like when someone walks out of a building, like it's raining or sunny and they look up and they like scream for like everything. That was me. I felt like bliss. So like quit my job, went to Park City to ski with my friends for a little bit. Came back and then went into real estate full force.
So it was here in the city then?
Suburbs.
Suburbs. Yeah. Cool. That's such a thing though. I mean, even with my own self, working for some of the bigger like production houses in the city, it became like, it's always on someone else's dime. And I think that's what's so great about having your own business or doing your own thing, much like a real estate agent. Just the freedom, like it's all on you situation rather than like being stuck in a cubicle or anything like that. It's wild how much for some people it like can drain their soul.
Literally. Like I did not want to be in a corporate setting 8-9 hours out of my day for the rest of my life. Like I love the fact that like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm around showing homes, or just like I can do whatever I want. Like I couldn't do that if I had a 9-to-5 job, which is like, if you love that, that's awesome. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah. Security at some point, the security of it isn't worth it.
No,
you know what I mean?
Not for me. Yeah.
Steal my soul.
Yeah.
So when you initially started, did you find much success in real estate? I know a lot of people that I've talked to have like, there's always that learning curve. There's always like their first year was pretty tough. Did you find success initially, or was it a pretty tough route for you?
That first year was tough. Like I got a couple leads here and there. Like I got my first listing appointment like 2 months in.
Yeah.
But I knew that up front. Like I knew like I would have to, like even when I was working real estate, like I still had a part-time job. Like I didn't have any money coming in. I was still fresh out of college. I had savings, but I didn't want to use all that up.
Totally.
So like I would legit go into the office at 9 o'clock, until like about 3:00, and I would be with my team, listening to other people in the office, getting used to the MLS, getting used to properties, all that kind of stuff. And then at 3:30, I'd go to my part-time job until like 11:00. So it was a full single day, legit. But I knew that going into it. And honestly, that first year really is about learning, taking all you can get. Like I was doing inspections, showings for people in my office. Any way I can really, get my hand into the game to get comfortable and know what to do in certain situations, I was really doing that first year.
Yeah, and you were trying to get it done. That's awesome. I love that. Yeah, even with us, in the production company, we're still relatively new into it. Same sort of thing of just we definitely dived head first in, so which was cool. We didn't have to get another job, but even still, it's been a grind.
Yeah, awesome.
Just recently, we've really started to see a lot of fruits of like our labor of like social media and all that, and it's cool to see once you start getting your the ball rolling and the momentum of that. And it's crazy how like building on just like small success after small success, and now you're like, man, I'm really moving in the right direction, and that's so awesome.
Yeah, it's like our exec team, I'm gonna mess up the saying, but they always say like harvest in the fall and then like pull from your crops in the spring or something. I don't know what it is, but it's like something like that. But it's like legit, right. You got to like plant all the seeds so that when you're ready to go, everything's fruitful.
Yeah, 100%. And being prepared for that opportunity. Yeah, that's what they say. Like where luck is, it's like where preparation and hard work like meet.
Legit.
Yeah, 100%. So I kind of want to get into this. So real estate right now, the market, interest rates just went up. What do you think about that? What's your thoughts for buyers, sellers? I know you usually work with buyers, correct?
Yeah. So, I mean, just going back to, I guess, when this craze pretty much started for a lot of people. So going back to 2020, when the lockdown happened, we didn't know what was going to happen to the market. And then, when we were just doing virtual showings, all that kind of stuff, we're like, what's going to happen? So even in that time, like myself and my team were just kind of like prepping, getting ready to go, making sure our standards and process was like, ready to go for people. But I think it was like around March or so when we can get back out there showing, like it just shot up. Like it was crazy.
Really?
The activity was crazy. Like properties were going crazy over ask. People were getting bid out by cash, everything like that. But jump to maybe 2022, like May or June or so, you saw that kind of slow down a little bit. Like there were still people out there looking, but the time in and interest rates rising, people were like, okay, maybe I should actually pull back.
Yeah.
They're getting tired. I've been looking for a while. I don't want to get beat out by cash offers anymore.
Yeah. How annoying must that have been for buyers? Like,
Yeah, it's frustrating, but one of the things I tell my buyers up front, before we even see a property, we sit down and talk about the entire process up front. And I let them know that you're probably going to have to make 3 or 4 offers before you win it. So really setting that stage is something that, my team does to make sure that we're setting the expectations on the emotional side along with the process side. So jumping back to the market, it's slowed down a little bit in the summer and then going into the fall as well. But probably in the last 6 weeks or so, we've seen rates drop a point or so.
Yeah.
And we've seen a lot of buyers come out of the woodworks.
Yeah, people got excited.
Yeah. But even if you look at like interest rates for the past 30 years, again, sitting down with my buyers, I make sure to show them that trend of where it's been the past 30 years, not just those 2 or 3 years where you got 2, 3,
which was
4%,
insane.
Which is like you're not going to get that again. It was a small little pocket of people that got that. But honestly, where we're at right now, we're normalizing. Like 5 or 6 really isn't that bad if you look at it.
Right. Memo bought a house a long time ago, or not a long time ago, maybe like 20 years ago, and he was like, my interest rates were at like 14%, and now he's like, 5's nothing. So he always says that. Yeah,
it's always about more so rather than telling, showing your clients. So that visual picture helps them set the stage.
Yeah, that's wild. That's crazy. So with that being said, I was also thinking about this too. We do a lot of stuff with loan officers, and they were like, January was really crazy for people coming in trying to get loans. Yeah. So it seems, to piggyback off your point that like people got pretty excited by just a drop,
literally
like 1 point.
Yeah. It increases your buying power. So go for it.
Yeah. 100%. You think it's difficult to be a realtor right now? Do you think that the market's a little saturated as far as like the amount of people trying to do it?
I mean, again, if you just go back to like a lot of people came into the market, and a lot of people left the market when COVID hit. right? They don't want to deal with this new wave of like how to do transactions. And a lot of people came in, they're like, oh my gosh, look at all this money I could make. But with those deals, a lot of those things were sellers getting whatever they wanted, buyers giving up everything, not doing inspections, not really going through the entire process of actually like what it looks like to do your due diligence. And a lot of realtors, I feel like they're probably going to fall out of the game just because they don't really know how to work the contract, how to really work the process, how to make sure to get them from start to finish if we're not having buyers give up everything just to buy the house anymore. So I think we might see people fall out, but in the sense, is it hard to be a realtor right now? Honestly, like, no. Like it's obviously not many properties out there, so you got to really find a way to get your buyer's property, which my team does a good job of. Like, either, you know, we're sending out mailers to locations or buildings, or we're talking to other realtors as we do showings to really see what's coming in the market. But honestly, like, you can always get clients. You just got to make sure you're in flow with them. Like, we make sure to prospect. That's one big thing. Like, people hate cold calling, and like we change the word. Yeah. It's all about like mental game with that. But like we change cold calling to like warm calling. Like, you're not just calling strangers. Like, the people you know in your pocket, they might know someone. That's a pot of gold just waiting for you. So I feel like if you're just continuing doing that, like, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I despise cold calling, so I feel you on that. Yeah. But one thing that we've found out, and we've had a lot more success to get to closer to warmer leads, is the way we use social media and the way we interact with people on social media. Yeah. It seems, for us at least, that it's really helped kind of put down the barrier of like first meeting until they're like now kind of like a warm call when I finally reach out to them.
Totally.
But what do you think helps an agent stand out right now? You know, I obviously I think social media is the key to it. What do you think are some of the attributes that people need to have?
The main thing right now is just knowledge, right? So if you're giving clients or future prospects, you know, what's going on in the market, what does it look like to really buy in this market? What does it look like to really sell in this market? Given that trend on interest rates, given knowledge, right? Given knowledge on what lenders can do for them. And also just, again, setting the stage of where the market is right now. So I think if you really inform your clients and give them knowledge and value, that'll set you apart.
That will set you apart 100%. Yeah, I think so too. Value is so big. Yeah. Like making sure that you give more than you receive, right?
Yeah, totally.
So how is it, or what's important about marketing yourself in today's market or place, or what are your thoughts on that? Like,
marketing is huge. Honestly, it's like the first step, the first picture of someone that's going to see you. So, like, social media is a huge thing for me, like you mentioned. And honestly, do I get a lot of leads from social media? No. But what it does, it sets a stage and standard, like where I am, what I can do to help them, right? So when I first started, I used to just post a lot of real estate content. If I was out doing showings, I would show properties, I would make a nice video of what's going on or what they can see. But now people know that I'm in real estate. Like, I wanted to make sure that people knew I was in real estate by making, you know, Instagram, LinkedIn, or Facebook my main stick for, you know, what I was doing. Now I've kind of pulled back a little bit on sharing that content because people know I'm in real estate. So that, to bridge that gap, I like to share my personality. So either like funny videos or funny things I'm seeing on a showing, or just like me struggling in a workout, right? I like to just show things like that because it's also showing my clients. Like, I like to work with like people that I'm similar with, right? So it's not just, I'm not going to work with anyone just to work with it and get a check. I just don't want to do that. I want to make sure it's a good, fruitful relationship for both parties, right? So you're working with someone you like and trust, right? So sending out that energy, showing who I am, my personality through those videos or posts has just been huge, because again, the first thing people ask me when they see me is like, how is the market? They know I'm in real estate. Now it's like, okay, just like extending on that now.
It sounds like what you're saying to me is the importance of like authenticity. Yeah. And like people really understanding who you are.
Totally.
I think, at least for us, I think social media can be used as a weapon as well as far as like giving the value to people. You know how you just said like value helps you stand out? I think social media will allow you to give value on a much larger scale compared to like, I always thought when people came and showed like they're at a showing or like just sold, I always thought that was like a stroke of ego rather than like I'm giving potential clients like a real set of value and that they can be like, I think that's the difference that a lot of agents didn't necessarily. I think that's the turning of the corner, I guess I would say.
Yeah. And like, even for me, like my use Instagram, for example, like my feed rarely includes just sold, just listed or something like that. Right.
Good.
So like I can market my properties for my clients for other ways, but like legit, if I do post like just sold, just listed, I'll post a story with it. Like, how did we get here? Like,
totally.
What value did I offer to my clients? But really, I use my feed as like a poster, like a billboard. And then 100%. I use my stories daily to really just show and continuously just be in their face and stay in flow with my people.
Top of mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the stories is a great place to keep your personality part of you in there.
Yeah.
Or like a motivational thing that you've seen.
Yeah.
Anything like that, I think is the way to go with it. Do you have any predictions on where the market's going to go, how it's going to, where it may lead? Yeah,
so my predictions aren't my predictions. I try to go to the experts. So a lot of economists have just been saying that, we're probably not going to see any huge price drops. There probably isn't going to be like this huge recession people are talking about. Rate or prices are going to be pretty steady, honestly. So just look out for that. You might see some turnover from COVID with like short sales of foreclosures as well. And then the sense of like interest rates, everything goes according to plan. We should see things settle in the mid fives, either by the second or third quarter, hopefully. So, that's promising for people.
Yeah, 100%. That sounds great. So you work with buyers a lot, right? So is there anything that you recommend for buyers to potentially have in their front of mind when they are about to buy something or a house, property, whatever? I
mean, even in this kind of market, I just bring it back to the fundamentals of setting the stage, setting the standards, making sure you have a good team behind you, a good realtor, a good lender, a good attorney, a good inspector, and before you even start the process, a good financial advisor to look at the big picture. You want a good realtor because you want them to explain the process, be there for you emotionally, not just open the door and show you a house.
That's a good point.
You want someone when you are showing a home to actually be the second pair of eyes, right? So how could a certain layout, how could a certain room really affect your lifestyle? You want a good attorney because they're going to cover you on the back end. You want to make sure you get everything laid out, everything covered. You're crossing all your T's, dotting all your I's, and you want a great inspector because an inspector's job is to find every single thing wrong with the home, right? So you want to make sure that typically a great inspector is going to be someone who was a contractor in the past. So ask them questions like that before you hire them. Don't just hire them because you want to hire them.
Well, I feel like that's a lot of my questions that I had for you. Mm-hmm. Is there anything you want to talk about? Anything you want to plug? I would be happy. Happy to know and let our listeners know.
Yeah, for sure. So look up the Jackie Mack More Team. We are the best. We sell the most. We do the best job. Follow me on Instagram at Travis Wallace _real estate. That's pretty much it.
Everything you just said was awesome.
Yeah.
By the way.
Just make sure you have a really good team behind you.
You have to,
and that's gonna bring you from start to finish in a very smooth and an efficient manner. And that's really what my team does. Honestly, like we make sure that we're very systematic. We create a repeatable process to make sure that either on the buy or sell side, our clients know what to expect, what's going to happen, to make sure that they're not in default for anything.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Sounds like you guys really got it locked down.
We do, yeah.
The team that sells the most, I love that.
Yeah. No one sells like us, so.
That's awesome. Yeah. You guys are... Thank you so much for coming and spending some time with us. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Cheers. Salute.